this black car that pulled out of the liquor store with smoking muffler. That's what they were doing in Wisconsin. They would pull in front of me, cut me off, and force me to drive behind them with their mufflers just spewing all kinds of muffler smoke. That is actually illegal. It's against the law. You have to have like a imminence test or some type of test before you could drive on the road. And we would be coughing and gagging. So what I'm gonna do is get his plate number, because I take pictures of it, but because we're driving, it keeps being shaky. So he must have, here he is right there. I'm gonna try to get that plate number because it's LRD. If you put an O in there, it'll be Lord. So he's driving slower. Notice I've always, well, I can say I always, if you notice, there's always a silver car in front of me. Always a silver car in front of me. What is the odds of that? They pull in front of me. It's like a ritual. It's going on for the last 3 years. Black, white, red, silver. All this started in Wisconsin after I filed a sexual harassment suit. Some supervisor thinks it's appropriate to rub on customers to rub on employees' breasts, or to force someone to go out on a date with them. Same people, same plates. And when you look at their VIN numbers, the VINs are either scratched off, they're tampered with, which is also an illegal. You can't tamper with your VIN. The VINs are either scratched off, or they have XXXX all the way through them, or they cover them up so you can't get the VIN number. Another thing that they do is they're always, if I'm behind a black car or a white car, excuse me, I'm never behind a black or a white car, because you can't force it when you drive behind those types of vehicles. If I'm behind a car, what they'll do is, there's always a white car right in front of them, and the white car will dart in and out of lane. Just go in and out of lane like the person's intoxicated or something. Usually a white car or a black car. And how all this started is what they were doing. A black car would pull in front of me. Before I noticed what they were doing, a black car would pull in front of me and then slam on its brakes. But usually after a car with high beam lights would hit me in the eyes, and then a black car would pull in front of me, slam on the brakes, and I would almost hit them from behind. And so this went on for like a month, and then I started realizing, well, wait a minute, this ain't coincidence. This is people actually intentionally trying to get me into some sort of accident. So what I did, I started watching what they were doing for another month. And after I watched them, I'm like, okay, this is intentional. That's when I started filming what they were doing. And it was always the same. Some car, silver vehicle, bright high beam lights would hit me in my eyes. And then a black car would pull in front of me, slam on its brakes. And sometimes I have to swerve out of the lane to stop from hitting the vehicle. And then another car would be on the side of me. There'd be a black car in front of me. This is when I used to drive behind it. There'll be a white car on the side of me, a silver car on the side of me, and another black car behind me. And what they would do is, once the silver light hits me in my eyes, the black car would slam on its brakes. And then once I tried to swerve into the other lane to avoid hitting the car from behind, the car on the side of me would pull up, so it'd end up looking like some type of side swipe. They would kind of block me in, intentionally trying to get me in some type of accident. So I started filming it. And I made them aware that I was filming. I rolled down the window sometimes to make sure I got some good filming of what they were doing. And then I reported what they were doing to the insurance company. They told me it was some type of vehicle insurance fraud scam. So I did report them. But it still goes on. Now for 3 years they've done different stuff. It's it's almost like they're doing some type of experimentation. If somebody told me that they were doing some type of psychological training or something, which I kind of think is kind of weird because I didn't sign my name to any type of contract or any type of testing or anything else.